Most of us would love to look like a professional athlete, an Olympic athlete, but the mirror reflection usually doesn't bear any resemblance whatsoever. But getting physically fit is doable, right? And it does have some significant health benefits. Joining me now in studio is Charles Sciortino, a personal trainer at Impact Nutrition here in Lethbridge. Welcome to BCN.
Thank you, Hal. It's good to be here.
So how did you get involved in nutrition and fitness to begin with?
Actually, it's more the fitness side than nutrition side. I'm getting actually my certification in nutrition soon. So anyway, but the fitness side, started working out when I was 17 in Montreal. A provincial level wrestler in Montreal told me about fitness and gym stuff, and he took me through the gym stuff at the college and got hooked right away. And that was 32 years ago. And I've been going ever since. And the main reason was because both my parents are overweight, love them dearly, overweight, have high blood pressure, and I didn't want to live my life that way. And that's how I got hooked onto fitness and haven't turned back.
So how do we as Canadians really rank on the fitness scale? Are we like a C minus, a B minus?
I would be. I know. Like people say, okay, we're great, we're fit. That would be an A. F is like everybody's overweight and everybody's lost it. I would try to be a little bit more positive and say C minus, like what you said. But if you look at the cost of healthcare, it's going up every year. So that kind of indicates to me we're kind of losing the battle on being healthy that way. We're getting more hooked on the pill side instead of the fitness side.
Doing it naturally, right?
Right. Instead of being the preventative side, we're going on the side of, okay, what can I take to get myself better now?
So how much exercise should we do each day? 15 minutes, half an hour? What would you recommend?
I would recommend starting, if no one's ever done it before, I would say start with a 15-minute walk. Brisk, let's say if you go around the block a couple of times, that should be fine if you've never done it before. If you have, go on to more of an incline walk, go to a gym, try a gym out. That could be something that you could get hooked on, like I did when I was 17. But you never know until you try. And it's best that people do the preventative side than take pills, something that the body's not necessarily used to.
So how about if somebody is a little nervous about working out at a gym and worried that they're going to tear something, maybe injure themselves? How can you put their fears at ease?
If they do go to a gym, go to a gym that actually has personal trainers and talk to the owner and say, hey, these are my issues. If you have any joint issues, they would most likely give you a trainer that knows your situation and be able to oversee what your training is going to be like. And they'll start you small. They won't pull you out into a workout that's going to, have you walking on all fours out of the gym and then pray to God that you can actually come back the next time. So their goal is to make sure you come back healthy and strong. Yeah, a little muscular soreness is fine, but the problem is when the joints start to hurt, you need to make sure, okay, you're doing it right, have a personal trainer oversee your training, and a little step by step. But the thing is, Hal, you have to take that first step. Right. No one else is going to do it except you.
So it has to start from within. I remember when I was playing football, offensive tight end, when I played a lot of football, it was like, no pain, no gain, Hal, you got to keep working. Yeah. But now that I'm a little older, a little more mature, Charles, I'm thinking, maybe that doesn't quite apply as you get older, the no pain, no gain, because you really have to listen to your body, don't you?
Exactly. And I listen to my body all the time. I train myself very, very hard. I basically train about 6 times a week. And, you get up in the morning part is always the slowest. You try to get the motivation to work out, and it's so hard, but then you go through the day, and for me, I kind of read my body, thinking to myself, okay, can I get into the gym today and work out? My body's telling me, you know what, maybe rethink that, take a day off today. Okay, I'll still do some activity, right? I'll still play with my kids, I'll still maybe go on the treadmill for a walk or so, but again, you have to really listen to your body.
When is the best time of the day to work out? Some people prefer early mornings, some middays. I prefer to work out during the evening, like after dinner. Is there a certain point in time? Or is
it depends on the person. Some people really want to get their day off fast. So they get up, some of them are not like me, some of them are fast out of bed, get dressed, have their shake, and they're out to the gym right away. I kind of like my slow time. For me personally, I would prefer working out, let's say 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm at my most alert. I used to work out in the evenings, but my time doesn't work that way anymore, so I prefer mid-afternoon.
How about, Charles, working out at home with maybe a Bowflex, some free weights, doing push-ups and sit-ups, and can you discipline yourself to maybe do that and be just as effective at home?
It depends if you function better being around people or if you function better being alone. I personally work out better when I'm alone. Some people enjoy going to a gym more to have that social aspect. If you're talking about, say, home gyms and stuff, if you have some sort of, let's say, a video or another member of the family working with you, that's a great encouragement. If you're alone, you really have to have almost that inner drive that pushes you.
Now, as we get older too, a lot of people are concerned about their joints, maybe getting shin splints as well. So that's why you don't see a lot of more mature joggers out there, maybe 60 plus, and they prefer maybe jazzercise in the pool, aquacise, right? What would you recommend for the more mature person who wants to work out?
When it comes to people with especially joint issues, it's best to work obviously in the water. Water's great, it's comfortable, but when it comes to building bone density, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the water size or any aquatic work.
Oh, why is that?
It's because when you're working through water, especially let's say if someone's running through water, and we've all seen that, the more mature people are in the pool with a group of people and they're kind of doing this, but the impact of the foot on the floor doesn't necessarily give your bones any resistance. It's the knees moving through the water. Yes, you get some hip flexor work and so on, but it's more of a cardiovascular workout. To get the bone density strong, you have to be on land where there's gravity working against you, and that's most ideal when it comes to that. For people kind of getting started, like I said before, always try a gym. Work out with people almost in the same situation as you are, and they can encourage you. Group classes are great.
And we lose bone density as we get older. You mentioned that, touched a little bit on that. How important is it then to use those free weights and that resistance to help your bone density in your 50s, 60s, and 70s?
It's very good. Obviously, the older we go, or the older we grow, is our bones get weaker, especially if we haven't done any exercise before. We hear a lot of hip issues, elderly people falling down and basically fracturing their hips or worse. Ideally, it's great that you start one step at a time, do something, let's say walk around the house with a bag of potatoes that you have in the house. Just something that builds bone resistance and bone density.
How about cans too?
Cans are
like
good.
Soup cans as well, or maybe some of the bigger
Yeah,
cans.
kind of putting
arm curling with those?
one can in your each hand and curls and moving your arms to the side, above your head.
If you have a toddler too, lift them up above your head, bring them down gently, of course.
Yes, of course.
Right?
You don't want them having hip issues.
No, that's right. Okay, now how about working out with weights? Sometimes I hear it's more weight, less reps. Other times it's more reps with less weight.
The more reps, less weight is more for muscle tone and muscle endurance.
Okay.
The more weight, less reps is more geared to powerlifting and immediately, let's say, the 20-second burst of energy, like lifting the heavy weight and putting it down. Basically, you're getting maybe 5 to 6 reps in. I personally prefer the more reps, less weight, because then you have less risk of joint issues in the future. The idea is that I want to make sure I want to have my own hips when I'm older and more mature. I want to have my own knees, etc. And I don't want any artificial joints in my body, so I want to make sure I'm doing it right from the beginning.
I look at some of these bodybuilders, Charles, that are now in their 70s, and they've kind of let themselves go. Now, that's my big concern. You get this big chest, the big pecs, deltoid, you're really big, the biceps, triceps, and then all of a sudden you stop working out, and like, gravity takes its toll and it drops. It ain't pretty, man. It ain't pretty.
Yes, we've all seen them.
So maybe don't bulk up too much, but just stay in shape, right?
Well, the bulking part is fine. The muscle size is good, but the problem is when people start enhancing their muscles.
What do you mean, like steroids?
Drugs, yes.
Drugs, okay.
If someone's building their muscles naturally, the chances of that muscle density, well, yeah, it does deteriorate after a while, but the quality of the muscle will still be there as you get older. It won't look, let's say, I know some of the people you're talking about, but we won't name them by name. But
some celebrities too.
Yes.
Right?
So, you look at pictures of them 30 years ago, they look great. Now, not so much.
Right.
Skin hanging all over the place, and it just doesn't look great.
Right.
But if they had done it naturally, chances are they'd still look pretty good at that age.
Now, you talked a bit about steroids. Is that, here in Lethbridge, we have a bit of an opioid crisis, like in a lot of cities across Canada. What about steroids? Are you still seeing that at the gyms today? Maybe young guys wanting to beef up, bulk up, do it artificially. Are you still seeing that today?
We are still seeing that.
So what do you say to those young people? Say, you know, you got to do this naturally. But they say, no, I want it now.
Yeah,
I want the protein powder. I want the shot of the steroid.
The protein powder is fine.
Yeah.
It's that steroid shot. As soon as you use it once and you see the results of it, chances are you want to do it again. And it's that results. And if I stop doing it, I won't get the results. So therefore, I need to keep using the steroids to get the same results, or more of something to get more results. But then they don't take into account years later, what's your body going to look like because of that result of you using the drugs. And I would rather not. I've been natural my whole life, and I turn 50 next year, so I'm looking forward to looking as good now as I do 20 years from now.
Right. What would you recommend to parents whose children want to start working out with weights?
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe a child as young as 7 or 8. Is that okay, or is there a chance of risk of injury?
It's not necessarily the injury part. I would recommend, like I have a client who's 12.
Oh, wow.
And he's involved in judo here in the city. So the thing I don't have him do is anything weight bearing on his shoulders, because especially his spine is still developing. When it comes to kids working out, I would probably recommend 10 years of age be the start.
Okay.
But mind you, there is a fine line there too. 10 years of age, you don't want to put weight on their shoulders. They can lift stuff, it's fine, but anything that compresses their spine, don't go for that. And it's great for them to do some weight-bearing exercises as early as possible. Even if they're below 10, okay, have them carry the garbage bag out. You know, okay, carrying it to the garbage can. Or here's
doing chores, you can burn some
Exactly.
calories. Encourage the kids to do their chores, right? And then their homework.
Not playing with their thumbs. Get up, do something.
Sure. Be physically active, right?
Exactly.
Okay, now what about people who are obese, really overweight? You know, their bone density and, well, they've got a little extra they have to lose.
Yeah.
How would you talk to them, and what kind of a routine would you put together for them to begin working out? First of all, would you get them to slim down? But they say, no, I want to bulk up. I want the muscle right away. Well, there has to be a little cardio in there as well, right?
There is. But I would actually have them talk to their doctor first, because there's probably more underlying issues than just them getting into the gym. There could be underlying health issues and so on. I actually have done that with clients before, where I had, they were morbidly obese. I'd say, it's great that you want to join the gym. Sidetrack, I'd love to take your money, but I'd rather you be healthy, and I want to see the doctor's, stamp of approval.
Because heart healthy, that's most important.
Yes, right? Yes. The heart is the pump, the engine of the body.
Because I've heard of stories, and even professional athletes who dropped dead of a heart attack out for a run. They've got a body fat of maybe 8 or 9%. And you look what happened, right? So it's all about the heart, isn't it?
It's all about the heart. And the doctor would give you the stamp of approval to start going, or to a stamp of approval for minimal activity. And that's a great start. You always have to start somewhere. One small step, that's it.
So Charles, what would you recommend to people who, okay, I've finally made the decision, I'm going to lose some weight, I'm going to work out, do some aerobic activity, some cardio, but you know what? 2-3 weeks into it, that's it, I'm out, I'm done. This is too painful, this is too exhausting for me, I don't want to do it anymore. So how do you motivate them to continue?
The motivation comes from results. It's very easy to get the results. You just have to be really consistent. So the results give you the push to do more, but then that consistency is what drives you. So for instance, if someone comes in and works out with me for 3 weeks and they've seen results, but now they've kind of sort of plateaued, let's say. So the results aren't coming as fast as they have. Okay, well, let's change a little bit of the routine here and there, do a little bit less reps, a little bit more weight, or more reps, less weight, kind of changing it up a bit. And that pushes the body to now, the body's thinking, okay, now I got to push harder. Oh, then I got to push harder, and then I grow or lose body fat. But it's that consistency and the results that people always want to come back. Hey, something happened to my body. I look great. I feel better. I want to come back and want to keep doing it. And that's the key.
How important is it diet and exercise? Like some people go on an all-protein diet, stay away from carbs, but carbs are not necessarily a bad thing, are they?
No.
Or fat.
Yes.
In fact, fat can be good for burning.
Yep, you need all three. You need proteins, carbs, you need fats, and those are called macronutrients. So you need those three main pillars of nutrition in your body. And there comes to a point where hormones begin to fluctuate if one's out of balance. But when it comes to nutrition and training, people said 80% is nutrition, 20% is training. You need the good food to fuel your workouts. And I've heard it said where if you want to work out great the following day, the prior day's nutrition will fuel that following day's workout. It's not necessarily that day's food, but it's what you ate before, the day before, that will fuel that following day.
You are what you eat.
Exactly.
Charles Sciortino, personal trainer at Impact Nutrition in Lethbridge. Thanks a lot for joining me here in studio.
Thank you, Hal. It's good to be here.